Well, we appreciate you spending some of your evening with us here on Open Line. I'm Chuck Long. We don't have a lot of time left, so we do want to get as many callers as we can in here. You're getting the best advice out there in the state of Tennessee from attorney Kevin Kennedy. Kevin, we're going right back to the lines right now. Ann is on the line with us. Ann, we appreciate your patience. We're glad that you're on the line with us. And do you have a question for Kevin? Are you with us, Ann? Can you hear us, Ann?
Yes.
Okay, you are up. Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, listen, who's responsible for removing the GPS tracker from your car once it's paid? Because I paid for my car in January, and in July, I started having problems with my car starting. So I ended up taking it to two different reputable repair shops. And the second one that I took it to, which was AES, and they discovered that it was because of the GPS tracker that was causing my car not to start. So and of course I paid for that out of my pocket. So can I take this receipt to the car where I bought it and they would have to reimburse me? I will hold on and listen for the answer, okay? Thank you.
Okay. First off, there's probably two parties involved in this. There's a company that sold you the car, and then there's probably another company that financed that. So the issue is who put the tracker on there and who was responsible. And also, it makes sense that when it's completely paid for, a good understanding, that tracker should come off. So I think it would be reasonable for you to go back to that car dealership and ask them, say, this is what happened. It's not fair. Let's be fair. And, if the car dealership just said, hey, blew you off, that's why we have Google. And so people can call the Better Business Bureau. And I'm going to tell you, it is very effective to go to the Better Business Bureau because so many times people say, it's not worth it. Let's just take this off if it's minimum expense. And remember, honesty is the best policy. Stand on it, advance it. And your reputation is really important in these days, no matter what business you're in. So pursue it. Well said, and you identified the issue. Excellent.
All right, thank you so much for calling in, Ann. We are going back to the lines right now, and Pat is on the line with us. Pat, do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Yes, I do. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I'd just like to get your opinion regarding using either the revocable trust or a will when you're dealing with real estate upon the death of the owner. And I can hang up and then just listen.
Hello, come in. I hear that every week. I use this illustration quite often. If you want to know where's the best movie, go look at The Longest Line. Lots of people have investigated that. There are times and places for a revocable and an irrevocable trust. The vast majority of people would be better with a will. What does Kevin Kennedy have? Okay, Kevin, you've been around the smartest, the brightest, the toughest, the longest, many rich people, and I have a will. So again, that's not to say that size fits all. I'd like to talk to you privately and then see what benefits there would be for your particular circumstances and your particular family's needs. You take in a lot of things, the health, and what it really gets down to, can we trust these people? I had a wealth management lawyer tell me recently, I said, what'd you learn from knowing the wealth management? He said, Kevin, you let the drool come out of their mouth before they ever give all their assets to their children. What he was really saying, if there was substantial money, then the kids may not really care about you once they got their hands on the money. It's sad, but I heard him say it and he got my attention. So what I'm saying to you is, let's talk about your individual circumstance and what's the real estate, what's the value, and what's the heirs and the potential risks there. And, some people have people in their family that will fight no matter what. They'll try to bully a brother or sister, try to intimidate, threaten with a lawsuit. So I think I gave you a good answer on that, ma'am. Feel free to call us if you need to.
All right, Pat, we do appreciate that question, and that was great advice, Kevin. So, Kevin, we want to go right back to the phones right now. Richard is on the line with us. Richard, good evening. Do you have a question for Kevin?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. Kevin. You're a scholar and a gentleman, and every time I talk to you, you take the sting and the anger and the frustration out of my system. Like in 2018, I was rear-ended and put it in my driveway. The lady hit me. It just ran my whole car, the back of it into the back seat and the trunk. And she was on the phone. She didn't have no license. She didn't have no insurance. And the police let her go, trying to set her in later. And she bonded up. Well, then after it was over with, I tried to hire an attorney down at legal aid, and this guy tried to rip me off. He tried to take a case. That's why it was so important that you said you can file a complaint against attorneys. He tried to get involved with the case, and he wanted to keep the paperwork after I went to court. And to make a long story short, he put it off, but it said me, the court agreement, I was supposed to get $20,000, $25,000, never got it. So I had to hire an attorney to another attorney to legal attorney association, bar association. He tracked the lady down after I paid him extra money for a detective. I was wondering if I could get this money, rebate money that Trump sent out from her. He kept saying we got to serve the papers on her. But the court has already awarded me the money. So why has he got to serve her?
Thank you,
Richard. Mr. Kevin, I appreciate everything you're saying. And
yes, I appreciate
it helps my soul and my spirit rest.
Well, Richard, thank you. Your words are very encouraging. You don't know what it means when I hear somebody come back and share like you did today. It inspires me to inspire the other. Everybody's all the time asking, Kevin, why do you have so many lawyers? There's so many needs. We can't take them all. But let me say this, Richard. Thank you. Continue to be the man you are and encourage. And we all need to let a little steam off some days. That's why it's good to have counsel. I didn't understand what it meant when they said he's a counselor at law. I said he's an attorney at law. He's a barrister. He's a solicitor. No, he's a counselor, and that helps diffuse our frustration. All men scream out with rage when there's injustice. And when a person's on the road, has no insurance, has no life, and the police turn them loose, you and I are aggravated, agitated to say the very least. Now, we get disappointed in the legal system. You already say, I've got the judgment. Well, guess what? There's 10,000 maneuvers that you have to go through to try to get. You heard me say earlier, you can get the judgment. Can you collect the money? And I only want to deal with honorable people. Once you evaluate they're people of their word, you can deal with them. And once you evaluate they are not people of their word, they're irresponsible, you're going to have a hard way to go. That's why I love for people to have insurance. And some lawyers, if there's no insurance, the lawyers will not get involved because they know it's a dead horse. And you'll hear them say, you can't beat a dead horse anymore. So, Richard, thank you. I'm sorry that you had the car accident. You know, my legal secretary was rear-ended within a couple of months ago. Horrendous wreck. And of course, the ambulance came and didn't want to transport her. Her mother's there, she's crying. And of course, then they both called me. And I said, you tell those guys right there, they need to take her right now. And they would say, well, who's on the phone? I said, that's Kevin C. Kennedy. And you quote me. So I don't even have to ask you, did they take her on to the hospital? Yes. And that's not me. I don't want to get aggravated, but I don't want to see injustice either. Thank you, Richard.
All right. I tell you, a lot of great advice there, Kevin. That really great call, great advice. We appreciate Richard calling in. Kevin, we're about out of time. I wanted to leave you, Kevin, in these final few seconds before we take a break, and then we'll come back and tell folks how they can get a hold of you. But one thing you said tonight really stuck with me. Strong people stand up for themselves. Stronger people stand up for others. That's going to stick with me.
Yes, Chuck. God bless you, Chuck. I love saying that. That's why I love our pastors. No agenda but to help other people.
Absolutely. Well, Kevin, as always, your advice second to none. So appreciate it. We'll take a short break and we'll come back and we'll tell you how you can get a hold of Kevin right after this.